Hey, everybody. Hope your week is going well. Just want to take a few minutes today to answer a question so many people may have about why we use hymnals at our church. If you've been around the churches very much at all today, you've probably noticed that there are two kinds of Christians out there. There are book people and there are screen people. Although I'll admit the screen people have pretty much taken over. In fact, some even question the existence of hymnal people and imagine that we're a little like Sasquatches. Rumors exist of such creatures, but are they really out there? They are, and you can find some live specimens every Sunday in our church, Bright Lake Baptist in Paulsbo. I'll admit there are some advantages in using a screen. For example, it may aid in continuity or the flow in a worship service instead of that slight pause that happens when the congregation turns to number 347 for the next hymn. The words for the next song instantly appear. But there are some advantages to retaining our hymnals. Screen people, you maybe want to shake things up a bit by dusting off the collection of old hymn books for a song or even a whole service. If you need help finding them, you can probably locate them in your church basement closet next to the stash of non-working vacuum cleaners and broken high chairs. Well, here are some reasons for using our hymnals you may want to consider. These did not originate with me, but I found them to be helpful, and I hope you do too. There's some musical reasons for using your hymn books. I'll give you three of them today. One, hymnals actually teach music. We're making less music today than ever before. To be sure, there is a lot of music going on around us, but very few people are actually making it. We're just consuming it, or at the most, singing along with music someone else made first. But even an untrained musician can look at the words and music in the hymnal and learn to follow the melodic direction and rhythmic value. Number two, hymnals set a performance standard. Contemporary worship music is based on recording instead of notation. This is endlessly confusing, and it opens each song up to individual interpretation. Without notation, it is exceedingly hard to sing well as a congregation. Hymnals fix that. Everybody has the same notation, so we all know how the song is supposed to go. Hymnals integrate music and text. Number three, words on a screen give no musical information. Hymnals fix that, and singers aren't dependent on learning the song by rote. There are some practical reasons also. I'll give you four. One, hymnals allow you to sing anywhere. When you depend on projection to display hymn text, you're bound to do your music making in a space outfitted with sufficient media. Two, hymnals allow people to take possession of the music. I know congregants who love to find the next Sunday's hymns during the previous week so they can open up their hymnal, refresh the words, work on their part so they're prepared to lend their voices. Preparation like that is one of the ways music making becomes a worshipful activity. Hymnals make it possible for people to have easy access to the best songs. Three, hymnals don't crash. Unless some kid has ripped a page out of your hymnal, you know the hymn you're looking for is going to be there. Technology lets us down all the time, and if it happens in the middle of a song or hymn, and you know it does, you're sunk. Four, hymnals are as helpful as the singer needs them to be. It's hard to ignore a screen no matter how well you know the song being sung. Its mere presence sends most people into a trance, and there are times we must pay close attention to the hymnal if the song is less familiar, and there are times when you may open the hymnal to one you know well and hold it out, but don't look at it once. You're free to look out into the congregation, make eye contact, and share the experience with others. And there are some symbolic and theological reasons. I'll give you 8. One, hymnals are a theological textbook. There is no perfect hymnal, but a well-crafted hymnal is a reliable source of theological information. 2, hymnals involve tactile action. Hymnals make people work. Picking up the hymnal, finding the right page, holding up to sing grounds you in time and space. Feeling the weight in your hand engages you in the activity more than staring at a screen ever could. 3, hymnals are not particularly distracting. Screens are actually very difficult to follow. Whenever you're forced to read a projected text, you are so easily lost in the colors and backgrounds and movements. You may find yourself anticipating when the next slide will be advanced. When you use a hymnal, none of that comes into play. You have the words and music and don't even have to worry about turning the page. 4. Hymnals preserve the aesthetics of a sanctuary. There is rarely a good place to hang a screen. Even worse, when installed into older spaces, the result can be a visual nightmare. It certainly would in the sanctuary behind me. Don't be mistaken. It may be a secondary issue, but it's also a theological one. 5. Hymnals confront us with new songs. We tend to go back to our favorite songs too often, and it's fairly easy to fall into a rut. If you look back at a year's worth of bulletins, it may be a little embarrassing to find out how much we sing the same several hymns. Not that there was anything wrong with the hymns, but the congregation needs to be stretched to learn unfamiliar songs. And often these new hymns turn out to be great sources of encouragement, even though they were once unfamiliar and foreign. 6, hymnals give validity to new hymns. New hymns are often defined by the company they keep. When new hymnals are published, if they're done well, they will introduce us to newer songs to be added to the ranks of hymnody. The fact that these songs are now sandwiched in between hymns like Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, and glorious things of thee are spoken adds to their validity. Hymnals make songs less disposable. Okay, obviously you can throw a hymnal away if you want, but text on a screen is there 1 second and gone the next. There is no visible permanence. But hymnals are symbols of consistency. They give life and breath to the great songs. They demonstrate that what we sing is worth keeping around. And number 8, hymnals give congregational singing back to the people. Congregations watching screens are at the mercy of whoever is sitting behind the computer. And to be honest, many of the worshipers are actually just watching the praise team up front. Holding hymnals symbolizes the fact that the voice of the congregation is the primary instrument in corporate worship. Well, I hope these suggestions have given you something to think about today, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. And if you have questions of your own, feel free to add them in the comments section below, and we'll be glad to address those as well. Have a great day, my friends.